Hey everybody, Bryce Koon here with the Crowded Booth. It is Monday and we've got a great episode for you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Ronald Acuna Jr., his reemergence post-injury, and a little bit of a celebration that, surprisingly to us, had a mixed bag of results with people's reactions to that. We're going to talk about his celebration, his home run, and what he brings back to this Atlanta squad here on the Crowded Booth.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The Crowded Booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Koon.
Hey everybody, Bryce Koon alongside Ralph Leary for the first time in Ralph, 2 weeks? We put out it's been getting a little hectic.
I know. We've both been
It's
really
okay.
busy lately, haven't we?
We have, and I'll tell you this too. It's going to continue to get busy, but we're going to continue to throw some episodes out here. We've got a great show today. But before we start, I want to encourage you, if you're listening on the radio in East Alabama or West Georgia, to find us on social media at The Crowded Booth. Hit the subscribe button. Ralph, 94%. It wasn't 97 last month, but 94% of the people who watch our videos aren't subscribed. So 3% of the people Ralph is really happy with. The 94% we're not so happy with. We want you to subscribe. No, we appreciate you watching the content as well. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify as well. You can listen on the audio as well as listen to the radio live throughout the week. Ralph, we're talking today a little bit about Ronald Acuna Jr. and the celebration. Now, first off, I think you've seen this clip. I saw this clip after the fact. I didn't get to watch the game live. Did you watch this game live?
No, I didn't watch that game live. But
Okay.
I did watch Saturday night's game.
Gotcha. And so this clip, and this is Acuna's home run on Saturday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
not-
I thought you meant. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about yesterday's game.
Oh, he didn't hit a home run yesterday, did he?
No, I'm sorry. I thought you asked me if I watched yesterday's game.
Oh, I might have said that. My apologies.
No, you're
Anyways, so this is Saturday's game. Now on Friday's game, it's the one where he fell down and hit the home run 450 feet. That was ridiculous.
fine. Yes.
But this is the home run on Saturday off of Corbin Burns. Now let's just set the scene, and then we're going to show the clip. So the scene is really, and I've heard this. Kevin McAlpin, Ray's radio reporter, said this, Ralph, and this really stood out to me. This was essentially a postseason matchup, like game, as early in the season as you could possibly make it. Corbin Burns against Max Fried, ace versus ace. Last year's Cy Young Award winner. I know you like Corbin Burns a lot. And two, Kevin McAlpin said this, and I agree with it. He said it kind of felt like this game, the first to three was going to win. And that's ended up what happened. The Braves ended up winning this game. But Ronald Acuna Jr. hits a home run, a no-doubt shot off of Corbin Burns to break a scoreless tie. So we're going to show this right here, Ralph. You got the video right here. This is the side angle, and this is the celebration. Now listen, let's say this real quick. Ralph and I, we love the old school of baseball. We also enjoy the new school. I don't know if there's too many things that Ralph and I disagree on, but we're going to talk about this and kind of get some feelings on this. And we're also going to kind of address some of the feelings in the room about this because it's very interesting. So first off, we've got this first clip right here. Let's show you this one right here. And then Ralph, I think you just shot me a text and said you've got a second one. So this is the side-by-side shot right here.
When he touched it off, he knew it.
Yep.
Watch it one
When he
more time.
touched
So
it off,
obviously,
he knew it.
this
Yep.
is, Ralph, the celebration of LeBron James.
Right.
We know that. We love that. It's cool. LeBron's made that iconic. It's interesting to kind of see what he's been able to do with that move. And we've seen it. Look, we've seen that carbon copied from a lot of different people. I mean, it's not just Acuna's done this. A lot of people have done it. But that's not the problem. And so as I pull this next clip up, Ralph, here's a different look from it as we get to see what Acuna was doing kind of from the opposite side, this without the audio as well. So let's get this clip here for you. And Ralph, this is where we need the intern. I mean, I don't know where he doesn't show up to work, and it's kind of frustrating. It's ridiculous. Here's the clip side by side. First off, those uniforms, the best in baseball. Hands down the best in baseball, in my opinion.
Can I just say one quick thing? And
Go ahead.
Honestly, this will give you my whole answer about this conversation. look at the excitement he brings to this team, to the fan base, and to what baseball is. I mean, I think Jared Carrabba's he's no longer Barstool Sports anymore. I think he works for
DraftKings.
DraftKings. He even said it perfectly. The game needed Ronald Acuna back so bad. He's the perfect star for today's brand of baseball. And it's true. I mean, he does exactly what is necessary to bring excitement to this game.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, and you answered right there. This celebrating hitting a home run, whether it's a bat flip, we've seen Acuna do the bat flip. We've seen him do the "it's over." When they hit the walk-off last year against the Mets. I mean, you smile about it because it's one of those things, Ralph, very few times, and we know this, if you're at a game, okay? You and I were at the NLDS game when Peterson hit the home run in the Chop House. You remember those. Like, that gives you chills. Very few times do you watch a game and you remember where you were that's not like a big game. World Series, we remember those. NLCS, Eddie Rosario. But, like, I'm going to remember that because that's the time when Acuna, went with the LeBron. You remember things like that. And so what does it do is it brings more attention to the game. But see, the question is it negative attention or is it positive attention? And this is just my viewpoint on it. And we grew up kind of in the same manner of this. And this is how I view it. As a pitcher, if I don't want a guy to hit a no-doubt shot off of me and celebrate, then I need to strike him out. I need to force weak contact. I need to do my job better. I can't get mad. As a pitcher, pitcher cannot get mad at a hitter for hitting a home run. Now, there is a caveat, and I'll go into this. And celebrating, you just can't do that. That just doesn't make sense to me. A pitcher can't get mad because he didn't do his job correctly. You should do a better job. I mean, that to me, that's how that viewpoint. Now, here's the caveat. We've seen this happen a lot of times over the past couple of seasons, most notably Tim Anderson throwing the bat. But this is the biggest thing, Ralph. If you watch, very rarely, we see it in college baseball a little bit. Sometimes, the exchange.
We saw it over the last weekend, actually. With all
and that was more unintentional, I think, than anything. But you see it very rarely where a guy hits a home run and celebrates towards the other dugout. You know what I'm saying? So Acuna looks into his dugout. Now, if you've ever been to Truist Park, you know how it's laid out. When Acuna is a right-handed hitter, he hits it, he's going to be looking down the first base line, and he's running, and that's his dugout. Exactly. It would have been weird for him to turn around and look at the Brewers' dugout. Like, that doesn't make any sense. To our knowledge, there's no bad blood. This isn't the Marlins. There's no bad blood between Corbin and Acuna. So this is all I have to say about it. If you don't want someone to celebrate when they have success, do a better job.
Right.
And two, if Corbin Burnes would have struck him out on a nasty cutter or a nasty sinker, fist pump. You just struck out one of the greatest players in the game. And Corbin Burnes, Ralph, in Acuna's spot, he just has announced his return to baseball after the emotions he's been through. And he's also hit one off of the reigning Cy Young Award winner and one of the best pitchers in baseball. So I think when you have to take a step back, when you view it as, well, that's ruining the game, how? And like, in what way? In what way? And it creates rivalries. And I'm telling you, fans inflate rivalries more than they are. These players don't hate each other. It's a fun rivalry because I guarantee you, if let's say Milwaukee and Atlanta match up in the playoffs again and Corbin Burnes gets a big strikeout, here's a big fist pump coming because he just struck out one of the best young players in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with everything you said there. And when you say about bad blood between the Brewers and Braves, there's probably none actually. I mean, it's called the Hank Aaron series for a reason.
Yeah,
it's one of the best kind of games to watch for a weekend because for both teams had Hank Aaron played for both their organizations in the past, so it's kind of a really cool series to watch. It means a lot to a lot of people who are in the areas, and especially from Milwaukee and Atlanta. But like you said, if anything, this is Acuna announcing that he's back. He faced the reigning Cy Young winner. Corbin Burnes is a very respectful pitcher, not very, he's not a show off. He's not trying to get in your face. He's just gonna be respectful about everything. He's gonna go out and do his thing. That's why he's good at it. That's why he won the Cy Young last year. He went 6 innings. He had 7 strikeouts. I mean, he pitched extremely well. He got 1 home run at burn him in the end of the game. But still, I mean, he pitches extremely well. He's not like a and we're saying if you don't want it to happen, do better. Corbin Burnes had no reaction. He was kind of you can see.
And like I said, this is not from Corbin or the Brewers camp. This is like from Braves fans
who are upset.
Reds and are upset and can't.
Who are upset about their own player celebrating a home run, which is baffled.
And I'll say this too, and this might be a whole nother podcast episode because we're kind of just talking about this in a nutshell. But the thought is well, when Acuna gets hit, he can't get mad when he does stuff like that. Does stuff like what? Celebrates with his team when he hits a home run. Like I don't understand the thought process of being mad when you celebrate your team. Now, if Acuna would have turned around, thrown the bat at the Brewers dugout, and started making gestures at Corbin Burns, okay, like that's what I mean. Like that's.
But he doesn't.
But he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that.
Exactly.
And the only time we've seen him come close to, I feel like, doing something like that is against the Marlins when he went down to Miami and like drilled the back of the wall. Remember that when he like put a dent in the back of the wall because of the bad blood that was already between the two teams. Right. But as we kind of wrap up this section, to me, I feel like, Ralph, that this is something that was completely overblown by Braves fans. Like I said, this is not a national media thing talking about it. This isn't Brewers media or team or anything. This is literally Braves fans getting mad at Ronald Acuna Jr. for celebrating, and then if he gets hit later in the season, being mad about it. Well, because I'm sorry that you threw a 96-mile-per-hour fastball at my rib cage when I celebrated with my team. Like, if you don't like that, don't try to intentionally hurt someone. Like that's, to me, that is something about baseball that is so like middle schoolish. You know what I mean? Like it's so it's just dumb.
Yeah, go back to the Marlins and Braves bad beef when Acuna in 2019 was hitting those leadoff home runs he lead off hit 5 in the last 7 games.
Yeah.
And then comes into the Marlins series and hit one the night before and hit another one later on that game. And so he was coming in hot, ready to go. And first pitch is at his elbow. I mean, okay, well, obviously if you're on intentionally hit somebody, hit him in the ribs, hit him in the back. Now you hit him in the elbow. That's worse.
Yeah.
You're trying to intentionally hurt that guy. And that's what the Marlins did. And that's why there's bad beef between both teams. But, Brewers, I think, both. I mean, even if Hunter Renfroe hit a moonshot.
Moonshot, yeah.
And Hunter Renfroe is not one to celebrate at all. He didn't either. I think he kind of just did a little simple, stare at it and walk and did a little slow jog at first, and then that was his. And that's just something he does. He's simple like that.
But you have
your show off, and you have your your guys who are just simple play. I'm going to hit a home run. I'm going to jog. That's just how it is.
Yeah, but you know why? Because the guy hit it a moonshot, like you described it. He killed the baseball against one of the best pitchers in baseball, and Max Fried. I mean, this is something that to me is just completely overblown. We talk about all the time on the show. Baseball is hard. So when a guy does something incredible like he did, celebrate. Like, celebrate with your team. He didn't do anything. He didn't make a gesture. He didn't do anything to the other team. And I'll say this, he did make a gesture, but to not to anyone on the other team. The kid's young. He wants to have fun. And don't be a dinosaur, because I'll tell you one thing, and this is kind of leading into maybe a next show that we do about all of this, Ralph. If you start to censor stuff like this, people are going to tune out. Because and I'll tell you this too, players will start to tune out. Because a kid like Ronald Acuna Jr., if you do that to him, he's not gonna be the same person. He can't be himself, and that's who he is. Not this flamboyant, show-off kind of guy, but he likes to have fun. That's who he is. He's an exciting player. And I'll say this too, Ralph. I saw a tweet. Shohei Ohtani came across a score on an Anthony Rendon walk-off single yesterday.
Yeah.
Ohtani, first off, is a massive human being. I don't think we realize how huge he is. But he fist pumps Ralph, and someone tweeted, "This is what Ohtani is like on a winning team." Like, we haven't seen a lot of emotion out of Shohei since he's really been in the show, because honestly, the Angels have been good. But if they turn out to be pretty good, why would you want to censor this? Like, and you talk about reaching baseball, Ralph. That's a guy that's from Japan, and then you have a guy in Ronald Acuna who's from Venezuela. I mean, this is things out of guys that are not U.S. born. Like, that means you're growing the sport globally, and that's what you want to do for this game. You're starting to reach different avenues, and maybe new markets are reached, and new markets can be tapped to. And what does that mean? New young fans for this game. So, we could go all into this, but I think just wrapping up here today talking about this, it's good for the game. I see no problem with it. You see no problem with it. If you don't want someone to celebrate, then strike them out. And I'm not saying Corbin Burns had nothing to say about it. That's kind of the thought process. But getting mad at your own player doesn't make any sense. What are your final thoughts?
I mean, and I was going to keep it quick. You said a minute ago, if you take away the celebrations and you censor it, you're gonna ruin the sport. Look at NFL. They took away their celebration. You can't celebrate after a touchdown anymore because it's offensive to teams who are soft and who don't want to lose in a bad way. Well, then play better defense, score more points, and it's simple. Let's stop crying about everything. Let's just watch the game, play the game, and if you lose, you lose. come back next time and win it or win the game, play better. I mean, it's just simple sports. I mean, don't go out there and go in the coach's face and throw a football at his face or hit him with a baseball bat. I mean, that's just a little too aggressive. But if you like when you were little in like Little League, Bryce, you get a home run, you would run the base and you would probably do a jump in the air and hit the home plate, and that's just how
the whole team came out. Remember, the whole team would come out
every time. And so as I was getting older, and I realized like no one did the jumping thing anymore because I was like you're a little older now. You just hit home plate and then you do like the take the helmet off, hit helmets with each other. It's just simple stuff. That's the thing. You look at college baseball. I know Auburn what Auburn does. So they do the War Eagle when the players are around the bases. I mean, it's pretty cool. But like, every team has their little thing. I think the Blue Jays have their little coat they wear. Red Sox have the push cart in the dugout. I mean, every team celebrates.
It's fun, man. It's fun. Have fun. That should be the title of this episode. Have fun. This has been The Crowded Booth. Bryce Koon alongside Ralph Leary. If you're listening on the radio, make sure to check us out every single day on that. They're airing episodes all the time now. Make sure also to check us out on social media and most importantly, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are nearing 400 subs. We appreciate that. We're going to continue some great content. I know we got some tech fans that are ready for an episode that's going to be launching later this week. And I will say this too. We do have a special episode with our good friend Palmer Toms coming up, talking a little bit about what Georgia, for you Georgia fans, is going to have to do to avoid LSU-like season after their national championship a couple seasons ago. This has been The Crowded Booth. Ralph Leary, I appreciate you joining us as always.
Always, man.
Always. We'll see you next time.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The Crowded Booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Koon.